Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to Try It Thursdays. This is a new segment I'm trying for our podcast this week, and I've asked Dawn to. She's been with us all week, Dr. Dawn Menge. She is. I have to go watch some of the wonderful videos and all the wonderful information she's passed on to us already this week. But I've asked her to kind of give us a challenge to all of our viewers, something that will help us live your best life, something that maybe she was challenged herself with that she can pass on with you. And so, but Dr. Dawn Menge, she's an award-winning author. She has a PhD. She's a university instructor. She works with people with disabilities. So she has a plethora of stories to tell. And on Try It Thursdays, one thing we're going to turn it over to Dawn to kind of give us a challenge today, something that we can each try to improve into our best lives. So, Dawn, I'll turn that over to you.
Hi, hope everyone's doing really well. I think for a challenge, you can't tell an audience of people you don't even see, This is what I want you to do. But what you have to do is you have to know yourself, and you have to know what your passions are, what your fears are, and what it is you want to accomplish in your life. And you have to know yourself. So that could be the first challenge, is getting to know yourself. A lot of times, especially for women, we're so busy taking care of other people. We take care of our children and our husbands and the homes. And I know that I did when I was married. I was married for almost 30 years, raised 3 children, worked, went to school. And so I actually don't even know if I was like a person. I was so busy doing what I needed to do to get through everything. My ex-husband was a fireman. He was a wildland firefighter. So he was gone, 6 months out of the year. And then when he was home, he wasn't really helping at home either, because you can't change your routine that much. But so when I started getting divorced and it's like, my kids are raised, like, what am I going to do? What am I doing? Who's Dawn? And so I started publishing my books. I started getting my PhD, and I never would have thought that I could accomplish any of that, but I tried. So my passions were my students. They were my traveling. And so that's what I did. I published the book, and that's all I was doing. I was just going to publish the book. I was done. And I didn't think about the book signings and the interviews and all of that. So for me, the challenges were doing public speaking and putting myself out there, because, my divorce wasn't very nice. And so part of people not being nice to you is so that they quiet your voice in the world. They take away your self-esteem and your confidence. And, this is something that also happened when I was stalked. At some point, you just start having a really hard time. And that is one thing I tried to do during the pandemic, is to do more speaking, more interviews. That's one reason I'm here. It helps me to get my story out, and it will help you if you've had a hard time. It will help you to get your story out. So your challenge is to find out who you are, what your passions are, and what you want to tell the world. What do you want to share with the world? In whatever manner you're sharing it. It could be a podcast. It could be a book. It could be at your church, during a church group. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be big or global. Those things happen. If they're going to happen, they're going to happen. But, even if you're just influencing one person, you've changed someone's life, and hopefully you're doing it for the better. And you don't know what opportunities will happen. I have my banner in, I've had this for like 13 years, and I had it up because I'm doing my interviews, and we actually did Bunko. My mom signed us up for Bunko. And so I had all these ladies that I did not know in my house. This is just a couple of weeks ago. And so this lady asked me, why do you have that? And I'm like, well, that's my books. That's my grandma. So I started talking about it. Apparently she had been buying my books because her mom's name was Vernita. So she was trying to figure out why I had that on my wall. It's like, well, because they're my books. This is my mom. And so she bought another book. But she would have never met me. I would have never known she was buying my books if I hadn't done Bunko. Like, right. You don't know what you're doing, that you're going to meet people and like, wow, you know, and so your challenge is to go out there and find something you're afraid to do. You know, public speaking is hard for me, but you know, I'm doing it. I'm doing my best. Even writing my books, sometimes it's, you know, you're out there and you're like, well, maybe nobody wants to read them. Maybe nobody will like them. Maybe, you know, you have all that going on, you know, and so you just have to go out there and find out what it is that you want to do and what you want to say. I think as you go along, what you're saying to the world changes also. And so you have to be flexible, and you have to understand that what you're saying to everyone changes as you go along. I have a friend I went to high school with who teaches refugees from Somalia in Oregon, and I've given him a lot of my books, and I donate them to him. I'm not publishing my books to make money. If I do, that's wonderful, but that's not why I'm doing it.
Right.
And so I'm helping Somalian refugees, adults and their children, learn English. That's not something that was ever on my bucket list. But I'm doing it, and it's just amazing. You know, a couple of months ago by now, but someone on Facebook was looking for authors to read to classes. So I said, sure, I'll do it. You know, I'm home,
right.
Zooming with my students. Come to find out, this classroom was in Paraguay, and they were second graders. And so we get on there, and I'm on there with all these little kids, and they were so excited. And one little boy says, I'm going to come to California so you can read me a story. And I was like, if you come to California, I will read you a story. But They were so cute. But did I have that on my bucket list? I didn't even think I could do that. But here I am, because of Zoom, because of what's going on in the world. People are reaching out by Zoom. And I've actually had access to people all over the world. I just did an interview with somebody from Bangladesh. The lady that I helped, or I was talking to about the film festivals, she's in Greece, and I've done several interviews with her. I've done an interview with someone from Jamaica, and read stories to her audience. And when you're doing things from other countries, you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be able to talk. And that's a little trouble. I have a little trouble doing that. Right. But I've been doing that. Last week, I did an interview with someone. It's called Greatness Engineering from Australia, Perth, Australia. And I did that. And then she asked me to write an article for her magazine, and so she could feature me. Part of the film festival, I entered that. I haven't done that. I'm going to try that. Started winning awards. And then other festivals contact you, and I entered those, and I won awards in Bali and Indonesia and Italy. One morning before I went to work, I heard my book trailer being announced as a winner in Italian. The only thing I understood was the name of my book, and I'm like, oh my God, I won! What did I win? I don't know what they said, but I mean, that was never on my bucket list. Let me tell you. Right. But part of that also, last year, before the pandemic, we were supposed to go. They featured me in their magazine, their movie magazine, and so I wrote the article, and they actually put the illustration that my student was in. And they put that one in the magazine. And so I sent it to his dad, and he was so excited. He's like, my son's going to be famous. So I helped this family, feel good, and their son is teaching other people about autism and communication devices. But that was never on a list of mine anywhere, I'm going to do this. I didn't even know it was out there. So you start with a challenge. You start with something that's hard for you, and you just don't know what's going to come from that.
Fantastic. Yeah. I know she's got all of these adventures, and she's got this exciting life. Well, and that's part of living your best life. It's living it the way you want to live it, regardless of what's happening to you, regardless of any challenges you have. And but getting to know yourself, like you said, you enjoy adventures. So if you didn't know that you enjoyed adventures, you wouldn't even have these storylines to write. Right.
There was someone that he's doing a movie about dolphins, and because we swim with the dolphins, I wasn't too sure he wanted to use my books in his movie. And so we kind of had a good talk about it. And I tried to explain to him. So my students one year, because I like swimming with the dolphins and stuff, I wanted to take my students swimming with the dolphins. And so my students made the Christmas trees. They had a little business and they recycled and they earned all of their own money to go. So we went to SeaWorld and we went swimming with the dolphins and the parents got to go. And that was a once in a lifetime opportunity for them. And I had to really fight to be able to go do that. But I was trying to explain to him that people don't understand. It's like when we're teaching our students, some of them have never seen the ocean. They don't know what the ocean is. You know, they don't know what a dolphin is, you know. So even though it might not go with the natural part of it, a dolphin in SeaWorld that a child can touch or see or feed, it helps them connect to the ocean. Otherwise, it's just some abstract thing that's in the movies. You know, some of them have never been on a train, and that's what they experience through my books, like trains and boats and, you know, Alaska and glaciers and kayaking. And, you know, there's a big world out there, but people don't know. This one is on the coastline of California, and this one has caverns and stalactites and stalagmites. And, you know, some families, they've never been there, you know, the tide pools and seals, you know, and then it might make them want to go and see it. So part of the challenge in my life is try to introduce to the world new and different things and new adventures. And you know what? Yes, you can go to Hawaii and you can swim with the shark, or you can swim with the sea turtle. We go there to Tacona, and there's a place where they raise seahorses, baby seahorses. And you can actually go through a class and get a baby seahorse and raise it, but you have to go through the class. And so you go there and they teach you about it. And then they put your finger in it, and the little baby seahorse wraps its tail around your finger. I mean, it's an amazing experience. And I've taken my grandchildren there. I've been there probably 3 or 4 times. And then last year we went, they had an octopus one. And so we went and we were feeding the octopus, and the octopus, they sprayed my grandson. You should have heard him scream, but it was, but yeah. Now he's going to remember that. And he went in the submarine, and we went swimming with the turtles, you know, just out in the ocean. And so you don't know what you're going to be running into when you're doing your challenges. Right. You know? And that's I think that's the whole key, is that we're challenging your viewers here today to know yourself, but it's also to challenge yourself to keep moving. Okay, let's see if there's one more thing that I can try, one more different thing I can do. Because that's how we get to our best life, is by getting through those challenges and stretching ourselves and learning new things. So and that's why I think Dawn's a fantastic author here, and sharing all of her stories, even though they're children's book. People make mistakes. You make mistakes because you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, you're going to make a mistake, but you have to keep on going. You know? Yeah, and so this, even though these are children's books, they're going to be, I'm going to probably get a few to read, to learn about the adventures and learn about the different things in her families and the things that she's been going, you know, they've been through, and open up our world to new worlds. So we can, and we talked earlier that we're both, she's had her birthday this week here while we're videoing. And I got a birthday coming up next month. It doesn't matter how many birthdays we've got coming. We've still got them coming, right. So we got to do something with that time. And yeah, I remember when I was younger, 58 was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be 58 years old. Right. You know? Here I am, and I'm not slowing down. I'm actually moving faster. Right. You know. Sometimes to the point I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, but it's like, how can I say no to that opportunity or this opportunity, or, you know, you can't, because you don't know. Right. And following those challenges just brings so much more excitement into your life. And yes. We've talked a little bit earlier this week too, that how Dawn and I connected was she's wanting to get out and do more interviews to help that public speaking, and I was trying this new podcast and filling out an application for homework, and she filled it out. I'm like, oh, I've got an interview. Yeah.
Yeah, and those connections, if we don't try, we won't know.
So now, by the way, you got an A on your homework.
Thank you.
I gave you an A and I'm a professor, so you got an A.
Good. So my application form looked pretty good, I guess.
It worked great.
Yeah. Yes, it did for me too. So thank you so much. I think we're kind of out of time for today, but we got one more day with her as Friends Day Friday tomorrow. And we're going to try to see about doing a little bit of fun things tomorrow. I've got a great idea we're going to surprise you with. So I'm glad we're going to, yeah. Another surprise. So thank you again, Dawn. And as always, I'm going to connect her information in the post with the video, and go back and check out some of the videos that we've done this week. And we'll see you again tomorrow, Dawn.
Bye.
Bye-bye.